Just like daddy, just like daddy, come on.
Ah yeah, it's time to travel and bang, baby.
This is Travel and Bang. I am your host, Marky Bravo the Mulatto. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games here to talk about the dark arts of seduction and the nuance of game. I'm glad you came. Hey, we're wrapping up the week and this is brilliant. I want to put the cherry on the chocolate German cake. Okay, you're gonna love this one. You know when we say the nuance of game, nuance meaning the subtle details, because I feel really that's what's lacking. When you listen to other dating coaches and gurus and your favorite shows, you ever notice how, I want to say it's bland, but it's just plain. It just covers the surface. We need to drill and get into the nitty gritty. We need to go underground. You know what I mean? And you know what? The subtle details is like, it's like a recipe, right? You ever had a certain food and it's just banging? And I'm not even a foodie, and I admit this. It's banging. It's just off the chain. Whatever cuisine it is, French, Mexican, Chinese, whatever it is, your grandma's secret fried chicken recipe, whatever it is. Or like the Jack Daniels, when we found out that whiskey was actually, you know what I mean, a recipe given to the man, Jack Daniels, from his former worker. Trying to be nice about it. You understand? It's that recipe that counts. It's that recipe, the subtle little ingredients. If you're from Maryland, you all know about that Old Bay seasoning. Or some people are really passionate about Lowry salt seasoning, you know what I mean? Or if you're from the Caribbean, especially from the Jamaican area, you know what I mean? Jerk. That jerk sauce just be kicking, right? It's that little different ingredients, little spices, different, you understand? That just sets it off. And that's the same thing with attraction, okay? If you pay attention to the nuances, that little bit that you add, it'll hey, you may not be the tallest, you may not be the most muscular man, you may not be even the handsomest man, but when you pay attention to the nuances, the little subtle details, and you tweak it here, you tweak it there, and you polish certain things, you know what I mean? As we say in my fraternity, you go from being a rough ashlar to a perfect ashlar. And we're talking about a stone block, when you cut it and make it, shape it perfectly so you can build a building structure. Do you understand? That's you. That's you, gentlemen, all right? So I want to talk about hygiene and smelling good and how this is more powerful than you ever could think, okay? So it's easy to accuse people or to bring it up and say, you know, people are dirty. They don't smell good. You know what I mean? And, you know, I want to be honest. Some people don't even know they fall into this category because they grew up with just crappy hygiene practices that they inherited from their family. Okay, but I want to show you through explaining how this affects everything when it comes to romantic intimacy between you and a beautiful woman that you are passionately desiring. I'm not talking about, you know, oh, I'm okay. No, passionately desiring. You know what I mean? Ever watch Basic Instinct? It's kind of like that. You just want to rip it off. You know what I mean? So let me go back in time. Do you remember Rhett Butler? Played by the actor Clark Gable. This was Gone with the Wind. Google it if you don't know. I'm a movie aficionado, so I know my stuff. Well, anyway, Clark Gable, who played Rhett Butler in the Gone with the Wind, he was called the King of Hollywood at the time. He was the it man. He was the Brad Pitt of his time. Okay? He was the it man. But then it's very disturbing when you find out that he had very, very vile smelling breath. Okay? And it wasn't really his fault because he came up in an era that really didn't teach the proper mouth hygiene and wasn't, you know what I mean, sophisticated or knowledgeable enough to do proper teeth cleaning like they do now. So he had very, like, actresses would actually complain about his breath. You know what I mean? And he was a cigar smoker on top of that, so that didn't help. By his early age, adulthood, he lost all his teeth, were taken out. He already had dentures. He had periodontitis, which is a very, very extreme form of like tooth infection, right? So I'm not a dentist. Don't beat me up if you're watching this and you're like, you're not saying it right. But you understand, he had very, very extreme bad breath. Even when he had his teeth taken out and he had dentures, women were complaining that, I don't know the actress, but one of the actresses said she would have to always do something to just get past the movie scene where she has to kiss him. And that's messed up, because that's Clark Gable. That's like Rhett Butler. You know what I mean? Pimp Daddy, you know what I mean? Rich Sugar Daddy Gigolo of the antebellum era. You know what I mean? Like, what? What? You can't tell that when you're watching those films. You can't. Who knew? Here is something even more disturbing. Marilyn Monroe. Oh yeah, this is disturbing. Marilyn Monroe, she was an icon. She was, I mean, such an inspiration to all women. You know what I mean? Because she wasn't like the most mainstream beautiful woman. She had, as I always say, what French call the je ne sais quoi, that which cannot be named. She just had the glow. She had it. She didn't need to be smart or intellectual or any of that. She just had it. And when you have it, that swagger, you know, all spotlights on you, all red carpets are rolled out for you. You get to exactly to that point where everybody wishes they could be. Marilyn Monroe smelled really bad. Okay, I don't know how to put it like this. Like, if you don't believe me, oh, you being a hater. Google it. Marilyn Monroe did not bathe like but once a week, and that's being nice about it. Other Hollywood actors who dated her complained about it, about how she, one man said she smelled to high heavens and this and that. And she was also known, for instance, to understand the hygiene issues she had. She would eat her food in bed. That's nothing wrong with that. We all, you know, come on, it's nothing bad with that. I understand that. But then she would push the food in the covers and basically lay there with the food under the covers. And the food, you know what I mean, would not be evacuated for a while. It just kind of stayed in her covers and kind of deteriorated, you know what I mean, without being cleaned up for a week or two. When then finally the maid would come and find, you know what I mean, some old moldy muffin between her sheets. It's not bad enough for you? Well, also, she had vaginitis. If you don't know what that is, please Google it. Let's just say, and I'll change the subject that this is so you understand, the hygiene was so bad when she went to different stores to go shopping, Rodeo Drive and, you know, stuff like that. The workers would come back into the changing room when she left, and I quote, they said it smelled like rotting fish. Yeah, so, and she just was to blame for it. She just did not want to, I don't know if it was a fetish or she just didn't know any better or she didn't like showers, but she just did not want to bathe, you know? So those are the extremes things. And even before that, you go into time to Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France. There's also, in that time, did you know that that's why they created parfum? Perfumes were created because people didn't know any better back then, especially in the West, in Europe, and they didn't bathe every day. So to cover up their vile, you know, nasty, sweaty smell after not taking a shower or bathing for 2 weeks, they put on perfume. That's the original reason why Europeans did it. Now, what happened in ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and areas like that, hey, that might be a whole different scene in those civilizations. But I'm telling you how vital good smells are, being clean. Gentlemen, please, I'm not trying to be insulting, but if it's you or if it's someone you know, you need straight up to be bathing when you wake up. Take a shower before you get to the hustle, the grind, the work. And then if you're really, super clean, when you get home, go ahead and bathe again, take a shower. You understand? And then, you know what I mean? Maybe before you bed, you take another rinse. But if that's too extreme for you, one in the morning and one before you go to bed, okay? This is very vital. We live in a very dirty, disgusting world. They did a research on fecal matter. That's like dookie. And they checked doorknobs all through everywhere. Companies, corporations, everywhere. And the amount of fecal matter that was on doorknobs was crazy. So that already shows you need to wash the hands, and that's why you need to bathe as well. A long, healthy life. And you know what? It's sexy. You know what I mean? Women can pick up on that. If you're a man with good hygiene, okay, and a man with good oral hygiene, you know what I mean? I don't care when I was younger, how broke I was. I always put the money to the side to get the teeth cleaning, to get the cavities filled. I had to do whatever I had to do because the teeth, as my German grandmother would say, are the pearls in your mouth. They're the pearls of your mouth. I mean, I have perfect teeth, but you got to make sure your grill's right, smells right. Here's a horror story. When I came back from Afghanistan, back to Florida, this one chick, I met her like on some dating site, and I met her up in St. Petersburg, St. Pete. And, we kicked it. We had a fun night, blah, 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 drank a glass of wine, chopped it up. And then at the end of the night, she forgot. This was during the Corona height. People still going out in Florida. We were doing our thing. And she left her mask in the car. All right. I think she did it purposely. But then the next day, she told me, hey, if you give my mask back. I said, cool. And I got it from the car and I sniffed the mask. And this woman's breath was so putrid. Her gingivitis was so bad. I could smell it on her mask. That's how bad it was. I did not want to date her any longer. I did not want to see her again. You know what I mean? I did not want to kiss her. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. Make sure your hygiene is right. Remember, even in the West, toilet paper wasn't really invented and dispersed till 1850s. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? I don't know why I just came with that back in the day flashback, but you understand hygiene. This is why we also want to do colognes. Okay, we're not going to get into the fact that perfume and cologne and all that different ones mean different things in other countries, but we call it cologne. Here in America, we call it cologne for men. Good fragrances. Make sure you get a fragrance. What kind of man doesn't have a fragrance to put on? Go out there, find a cologne just for you. I'm telling you, pheromones are real. When you spray it on, your pheromones with the cologne carry into the air. This heightens a woman's senses, and they pick up on it through their nostrils. You understand? The pheromones enter the nostrils and then get recepted by the receivers, you know what I mean? The nervous centers, and then it goes through the whole body, the brain. This heightens her sexual attraction for you, gentlemen. This does. And that's why you want to get your cologne game right. And if you want to take it to another level, pheromone soap. Like I said, you know what I mean? Tacticalsoap.com. Number one pheromone soap out there. You wash with this. You don't think it's real. Wait till you order a bar of it and you go out and you start noticing women just acting a little bit strange and different around you. And you're thinking like, I didn't do anything different. What's going on? Gentlemen. So that's what it is. It's hygiene. Make sure you're clean. Make sure you smell like a royal prince of Persia, which is good. You know what I mean? If you read about the history from those areas, you got to treat yourself like an ancient Egyptian pharaohs and make sure that your body is like not saturated, but just with the greatest of fragrances. You want to focus in on the science of pheromones. If you want trying to take the game up to another level, you want to embrace this. Make sure that your mouth, I'm telling you, when you get down to the bedroom scene, I'm telling you, you want the woman, just a beautiful, passionate scene with a woman. Let her realize like, wow, he's clean. His breath smells good. Let the woman think that, and let her, like a fruit, discover you. I know that didn't really sound right? Anyway, this has been Travel and Bang. Thanks for tuning in. Please, if you get value from this channel, please subscribe, share with family and friends. I'm just a U.S. Army combat veteran trying to make it do what it do and hit you with the knowledge. Okay, till next time. Asombroso.